We were the class of 1956, innocence in pink and black, naivete in crinolines, blissfully unaware in engineer boots and rolled-up jeans. We thought ourselves invincible, immune to the cares that burdened our parents. We saw ourselves beyond the common griefs, beyond the common needs that ground lesser mortals into the waiting earth. We slept the deep sleep of those confident we would live forever. In our headlong rush to flesh out our dreams, we scarcely noticed the seismic shifts that were taking place beyond the sheltering mountains. Our teachers did their best to arm us against the trials of the greater world, but only equipped us for the world from their perspective. We could diagram sentences, quote a little Shakespeare, and recite the periodic table, but couldn't find Vietnam in a room filled with maps. We were prepared to tell our grandchildren about Washington and the cherry tree and Lincoln's log cabin, but were shocked beyond words when we saw a president murdered in the streets. We assimilated the tenets of logic and the scientific method, but couldn't understand the reasoning of men who brought down steel-ribbed towers in the name of Allah. Somehow, we were able to reach down into some residual strength and found ways to cope. We learned from each new tragedy and rose above each blackened landscape on wings of hope. Those of us whose careers or family ties demanded we leave this valley have returned to find many changes. The Millwall Theater, where we rode the Old West with Gene and Roy, is now a church. The Derby Grill, where we raced our engines and drank our cokes, is now a taxi stand. The halls and stairwells of George Wythe High still echo with the clamor of class change, but the children look oh so very young. Our number decimated by the passing of 26 classmates, we stood in the shade of the golf course porch, waiting for what would be, for most of us, our last meal together. What brought us here? Was it the desire to rekindle old friendships? Were we driven to recapture some part of the child within? I can't speak for others. I can only tell you I am drawn to this land. I feel an affinity beyond the old acquaintances, beyond the natural affection for longtime friends. I feel a bond beyond all reasoning. There's something in the gentle contours of the hills, in the shaded grooves of the ancient mountains that calls to me. In the brief years when I lived in their shadows, I was so imprinted by the spirit of this land that I hunger to walk beside her streams and feel the power of her storms. I look to these mountains and I find peace.